All right, we have Jim Osman with us here today. He's written a new book, Price Catalyst. I actually read it. It's a great book for someone who wants to get started with the field of special situation investing, or simply want to learn about what a special situation is. He's been in the market for more than 30 years, so I think he's certainly qualified to write a book on the topic. He's a CEO and founder of Edge Group, and I'm delighted to have him here with us today and looking forward to having this conversation.
Thank you, Ethan. Appreciate it. Appreciate you having me on.
Awesome. So let's get right into it. If I sort of look at this book at the 30,000 foot level, you know, what is the message that you were hoping to convey, broadly speaking? And who did you write this book for?
Fantastic. Well, you know what? A lot of these things come from the need out there. I don't go out to write a book. I didn't go out to write a Forbes blog. I didn't go out to write for Bar Chart. People ask me, they say, Jim, you look like you know what you're doing. Could you write some stuff for us? I said, okay, I'm happy to put my because I'm passionate about our clients first and foremost. So, to extend that knowledge to everyone else is a real privilege and pleasure. And I was approached to write Price Catalyst for that very reason, to extract what I have in my small brain and put down in a book and obviously help people. So the real purpose of the book is the playbook I wish I had 30 years ago. At a high level, it's a practical guide to spotting mispriced opportunities in the market. Now that's you got to stew on that a little bit. What is a mispriced opportunity? I mean, opportunities that really, often hide in plain sight. And we've seen many of these go through, such as even recently where GE, one of the best breakups we've had for years. I mean, it was in plain sight. It was going to break up. They said it was going to break up, perform fantastic, all the parts. So, these things are not necessarily hidden. They're there, but you've got to uncover them if that's a better way of putting it. So whether you're managing your own money or part of a professional team, and just tired of chasing the noise, because that's all it is now. It's noise. Someone says this, someone's tariffs on, tariffs off, whatever it is. And you want to build
Right.
real conviction. This is definitely a place. So the core message is simple. Price is just the surface. You need a catalyst and a reason for the price to move. And without it, value can stay hidden for years. So you can just sit on a cheap stock. So this book shows you how to spot those triggers with a repeatable edge.
Right. I was going through this book a few weeks ago, and by the way, I have a signed copy, autographed by the man himself. It's great. You cover a lot of ground here. You talk about M&A opportunities, spin-off, insiders buying, so on and so forth. So, which one is your favorite catalyst and why?
Well, if I had to choose one, and like you say, it covers a lot in the book because there's just a lot of weird stuff going through, right? But the possibilities for value creation for companies and anyone even enforce those, the force of value creation are endless, really. And but if you put a gun to my head, hands down, it's spin-offs.
Mm.
And spin-offs are just so misunderstood. I mean, I was even on to a fund manager this morning. He said, "You know what, Jim? No, we don't do spin-offs. But are they not a little bit liquid? It's just the common misconceptions is one, but also people don't know about them. They're underfollowed. They're dumped by institutional investors, dumped by indices. I mean, sometimes they do go into indices, but mostly dumped. Mandate constraints." And all these dislocations create a sweet spot where fundamentals don't match price. And you see the difference, right? So if
Right.
we're looking for catalysts to move price to value, this is essentially the place where it can happen. And no one speaks about it. All right.
Right.
It's not like an IPO where you come onto me and say, Jim, I want to sell you stock at the highest possible price because I want to get rich, right? Spin-offs just happen because they happen. All right.
Right.
And you're not getting the call. So the dislocation is even more. So where there's any dislocation in the market, we like to look. And spin-offs for me is that place. And I made some of the best returns ever in spin-offs even from last month where, or last 2 months ago where the market was tanking, the first things to go in a portfolio are spin-offs. And we picked up stuff 30, 40, 50, even 60 or 70% returns in a month as they sprung back, as people spotted the value. We spotted the value. So, there can be enormous value trades, and people should look. So, clean managed incentives, and the potential for the market to finally see what you've already spotted is the closest thing to legal inside information you'll ever get.
Right. So let's say someone goes and buys this book, they read it. What's the next step?
I think
Should they read something else? Should they do paper trading? Should they just treat it as general finance reading, and unless they're in a special situation, see it, they shouldn't touch it? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, it's a great question. And so I think reading the book is the starting line, not the finish. I think you don't go straight into trading or investing them. You want to internalize the process. I'm a big process man to get me to the result. Okay, how do we get to that result? By looking at the facts and the numbers and the insiders and the technicals and all that sort of stuff. And then you start internalizing the process and perhaps building a watch list of names you can track that fit the catalyst and criteria and simulate the outcomes and paper trade if you need to your point. But then next go deep into the company filings, and you can do a lot of this stuff quickly with AI. You can find what you need. So you don't have to sit there for hours on end reading this stuff because it's boring, most of it. You want to extract what you can learn from the book out of it and see the bits you need, right? What's the breakup going to be? What the incentives are for the management? What sort of index are going to go in or out? Look into the S1 or proxy is where the gold usually is. And you're beginning to notice patterns. And this isn't about volume, it's about precision. So when you act with size and conviction, because you will once you've done the work. You'll be very confident. And the most thing, just as a side note, the most thing of problem with people is they get stopped out of positions because they haven't got their conviction and they don't know they've done the homework. Once you know you've done the homework, it's a great base to prepare yourself on.
Right. Do you think this is a strategy that can be used by individual investors as well? Or is it only for, let's say, bigger funds, so to speak?
No, absolutely. I mean, yes. But if you treat it like a hobby, no. Special situations are a niche that reward obsessive focus, right? And a lot of people today want stuff now. They're just like, give me it now. Is it going up? Is it going down? Whatever it is. But few people willing to do the work. And I spoke to Greenblatt a while ago on this, and he said, Jim, I said to him, I said, Joel, I said, why is not everybody doing this if it makes so much money? He said, Jim, few people willing to do the work, and that is absolutely true. And it's something that always stays with me, and people just don't want to do it. So yes, you can make money out of it, but discipline, patience, and a strong stomach are non-negotiables. The biggest misconception is people think catalysts are fast. Right, you enter it, it goes. Hey, great, we made lots of money. Right, that's not always the case. Some take quarters to pay out, and that's also the opportunity. But most investors won't wait because they're impatient today. They want stuff yesterday,
Yeah.
and that's a problem. So if you can and you're selective, you can absolutely make a living or better from this strategy.
Sounds good. So, beside your book, what other books or resources would you recommend for viewers who like to go deeper into a special situation, or the kind of value investing opportunities that you talk about in the book?
Absolutely. Well, there's obviously the one which people may know about, may not know about, and this is the Joel Greenblatt book, right? You can be a stock market genius, and that's the title, and you can, and but it's a classic. But don't stop there. Read, fulfill yourself in making sure that you know that the whole world or the investment process is about fulfilling your needs, fulfilling the information, read annual reports, get obsessed with filings, S1s, proxy, Form 4s. That's where the edge is. Follow seasoned activists. Look what value-oriented hedge funds are buying. And if you can, study the business cycles because context matters. And of course, follow us. Follow me on LinkedIn, follow me on Twitter. But that's what we do. I'm obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with what I do. Get good at something. We are the best at what we do, and like I say, I'm passionate about investors making money off this strategy. So you'll see my Forbes blog, that's free. Bar chart blog, that's free. I'm giving tons of information away, and if you can be bothered, same in the book, if you can be bothered to execute that stuff and read it, you'll win.
Sounds good. Well, on that note, I wanted to thank you for your time and sharing your ideas. As I mentioned, this is a great book. I encourage all the viewers to check it out. As Jim mentioned, he's also very active on X, and he shares a lot of these ideas related to spin-offs, mergers, and so on and so forth in his social media accounts on X and elsewhere. So make sure you follow him there as well. Looking forward to keeping in touch and hearing, what the new plans and milestones are.
Absolutely, Ethan. I appreciate that. Thank you today.
All right. Thanks again. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye bye.